Hello, and you're welcome to PrimeStar TV once again. Today we are bringing you the concluding part of the conversation that we had with the former Minister of Communication, Barrister Adebayo Shittu. Please enjoy yourself. Thank you. Were you born with silver spoon in your mouth?
Oh, I was one of the most wretched persons around. Look, when I attended primary and modern school in Ghana. I was born in Ghana. I attended primary and modern school, 4-year modern school there. And then
what's the name of the primary school?
LA Primary School, Chinderi, and LA Middle School, Chinderi, Volta region of Ghana. Then in 1969, when I graduated from middle school, there was a Ghana aliens quit order, which said every non-Ghanaian must leave for their home countries. And I was a victim. I was one of the victims. We came back to Nigeria, and when I came, there was no hope of going to secondary school because I didn't have any parents who could train me to go to secondary, who could sponsor my secondary education. So my initial prayer was to be able to learn printing, to become a printer. There was only one printer in Shaki then, Adebayo printers. And I approached him, even at age 15, 16. And I wanted to learn printing. And he said, I will have to pay £10. Why would I get £10? If I have £10, I'd rather go to secondary school. So there was no hope of learning printing. At that time, Chief Ebenezer Obi was churning out a lot of musical, things. And I got so passionate about his music. So I said, no, since I can no more learn printing, let me go and join Ebenezer Obi to become a singer, a musician like him.
Okay, and you think you have the voice?
No, of course.
Okay.
But I discovered I needed £1 to transport myself to Lagos. If I had gotten that £1 within a short time, the opportunity to go to secondary school would not have arisen. By now, I would have been a wonderful musician.
He's singing juju.
Ọ̀nà ló jẹ́ ẹ̀dùnwá ní bàbá. Ṣayé jẹ́jẹ́ ò nítorí ọ̀la o. Bóyá wọn ló lè ní ìlòpò ẹ kó dára. Ẹlòmíràn ń bọ̀ tí ó lọ́jọ́ ọ̀la. Yé má dán wò, rọra má dán wò. Yé má dán wò. Rántí ọ̀la o. So that was what I wanted to be. Unfortunately, I needed £1 to transport myself. I didn't get that money early enough. And then there was this Shaki Parapor meeting, annual convention. So I went with a friend to witness what was going on. It was gathering of all Shaki people from all over West Africa. The day I went, it was a Saturday. Two principals, there were two secondary schools in Shaki there, Baptist High School and Ansari. They were invited to come and give a report of their performance over the last 1 year. The principal of Ansari High School was the first to give a report. He gave a report. The school has so many students. They are doing well. There's this, that. After him, and then he left. And then the principal of Baptist High School also came. He repeated virtually what the principal of Ansari High School had, stated. But he then added, people from Ghana, I know you've just come back. If you have children who had been going to school in Ghana and now you are back home, you don't have money to train them, let them come and see me. I'll give them introductory letters to Ministry of Education in Ibadan. Perhaps government will give them 1 year scholarship. That was what I had, and my spirit rose. So on Monday, myself and the friend, we went there to the school. And of course, the principal didn't know us. He was wondering, well, who are you? We said we are from Ghana, but we are home. We were at the meeting on Saturday where you said this and that, and that's why we are here. Then he gave us letters straight away to go to the Foreign Secretary, Ministry of Education. So we found our way to Ibadan then, and we met the first female permanent secretary in Nigeria,
Okay.
Mrs. Folake Godalo.
Okay.
She was the permanent secretary minister of education. So we met, we took the letter to her, and she asked, there are 2 secondary schools in Shaki, where do you want me to give you letters to? Ordinarily, as a Muslim, I would prefer Ansarudeen High School. But I felt, as a grateful citizen, it was not the principal of Ansarudeen who gave us letter to come. It was the principal of Baptist High School. So why must I not take letter to the Baptist High School person? So I said Baptist High School. So he gave us letter, awarding us a year scholarship to the principal. So we came, and that was how we started secondary school.
Oh.
And I started from Form 2. And interestingly, at that time, the thinking at that time was any Muslim child who attends Baptist High School got converted to Christianity. So elders in my area, when they got to know that I had started, they were concerned. They said, with the school you go, anybody who goes there will become a Christian. Even despite my tender, I assured them I would go there and I would not get converted. And they left me alone because they didn't have a choice anymore. The choice was my own. So that was how. When I got to Baptist High School, I got the love of all staff because my English was very perfect, and they were excited about how sharp I was and all of that. So I spent 3 years, 3 months in secondary school, and at the end of which I became the only person in the whole of Ukyu who got grade 1 in the school certificate. In 1973. I was the only secondary school graduate who came out with grade 1.
Wow.
From there, I got appointed as a teacher in the school because at that time, I applied to University of Nigeria and Nsukka to do mass communications.
Okay.
I wanted to be a journalist because I was used to reading newspapers. I became unofficial member of Newspaper Readers Association.
Free of charge.
Free Readers Association. So, unfortunately, at that time there was no JAM. I was not given admission. The following year, my principal, then as a result of not getting admission, my principal offered me a teaching job within the school. I taught English in Form 1 and History Form 2.
Okay.
After the year, my principal, gave me a letter of introduction to his friend who was then in the Faculty of Education, University of Ife, who got me, admitted. No exam, nothing. Just letter of introduction.
At the time. Okay.
At the time. So I got admitted to read Education English.
Okay.
But I soon had to leave because I was having some inferiority complex. In the dining hall at that time, people would line up in the cafeteria, line up for food. When law students come in, for education students, most of them have done grade 3, grade 2, grade 1, so they have been matured. But law students, young boys like me, they come and start sarcastically calling education students Sakoba. Sakoba means St. Andrew's Old Boys Association. So when we line up, they say Sakoba. I was feeling quite degrading. How can a young man like me be called Sakoba? I determined that I will have to leave this line of Sakoba and join those ruffians.
That's the law.
So the problem then was education will not release you. Law will not admit. If education wants to release, everybody will leave education.
Wow.
And if law would admit, everybody will go to law. So I had to engage in a lot of prayers and fasting, even at that level.
To go to law.
To go to law. By the end of the year, only two of us were
Oh,
released from education and admitted to law. So
that should be 200 at the 200 level.
200 level.
Okay.
Exactly, 200
So that was how you read. That was how you read law.
My destiny changed.
Who was sponsoring you during that time?
I sponsored myself. Nobody.
How was it? I mean, how were you raising the funds?
I was doing, number one, I had brothers, some in Beneri, no, in Burkina Faso.
Okay.
I would go there. I had a friend, we came from Ghana together. He was already working in Lagos, another one in Ibadan. My parents were very rich. In fact, my dad died in December 1970.
Okay.
And he would tell me,
because he didn't have the money.
He didn't have, he was riding a bicycle and he had a farm 20-something kilometers away. He would ride to the farm. He didn't have anything. So one kobo of his, he never spent on my He preferred that I go to Ibeku, but my own mind was
to go to school and become something.
So during, I was engaged in holiday jobs. I had some of our teacher lecturers who I was doing who were getting me holiday jobs, and then I would also go to Burkina Faso, go to Lagos, go to Ibadan to beg for money. That was how I did throughout my university.
What was mommy doing?
My mother was a wretched. She was not doing anything. She was not doing anything. Very wretched, poor woman.
Yeah, you are the firstborn.
No, I was the sixth.
And the first to go to school, to graduate?
Yes, the first. Only two of us, myself and my junior sister, got it. But I had to sponsor my junior sister.
That's determination.
Yes, I was determined. And of course, it's God's guidance also.
Meaning that your background shouldn't define you.
No, it shouldn't, because if it is background, I was very wretched. Nobody before me went beyond modern school. Nobody in my family, nobody. But I was determined to be educated, and God assisted me.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you will consider this to be injustice, to be unfair. How do you rate the present administration at the federal level? Yes, I know you are an APC person.
Well, the truth is, I pity and I sympathize with the president. Because it is like you have a superstructure with an almost collapse, and you invite somebody to come and take control of it. I was in the Buhari administration, and I recall that during the campaigns for his first term, we gave Nigerians a commitment that we were going to revive the 4 refineries which had collapsed completely. You
gave many promises that never came to the light.
Unfortunately, we couldn't do it. Even after 8 years, there was no refinery working.
Even other promises failed.
And there was no anti-corruption crusade. There was nothing. So Tinubu came at that stage to face the negligence and ineptitude of the previous government. So for me, I sympathize with him. I know that the situation is very overwhelming, and I keep praying for him that God will make him get things right. Because if a progressive like him does not succeed in putting things right, then who?
Why is it difficult to have an opposition? For instance, you are APC. In your state, we have PDP. And nobody is holding the current administration accountable for whatever they do.
I think one of the problems is the fact that parties don't really have any orientation exercises to reorient members of the party. If you are in the opposition, you should appreciate that it is a bounden duty for you to keep the government in check. But there's no orientation. Everybody goes into election with a view to winning and enjoy the benefits.
What happens to the civil society?
Well, unfortunately, the poverty level in society is also killing. Everybody is looking for, something, fallouts from the government. Everybody wants government appointment, but even those who have jobs, they still want something. So it's difficult for people, except courageous people like us, we are very few, of course. We will challenge the government when they do things wrong. even our own governments who will point out mistakes where there are. So that is a problem. So until parties get their bearing right, to know what are their duties as people in government and people in opposition, until then, things will remain very bad for Nigeria.
What is your last word to the people out there?
Well, my last word is I pray that they get themselves properly oriented. I feel very bad. As somebody who is an aspirant, I go out to communities to campaign, to seek for their help. And the first thing they are asking is, Kile mu fun wa. Kile mu fun wa. Instead of asking, Kile she fun atebadebe. If you don't task those coming into office with responsibilities, and all you are interested in is, fall out from their pockets. At the end of the day, they give you pittance, and when they get there, they go to recoup in multiples. So my plea, I know the poverty situation is very there, but people should be courageous enough to task people seeking for their votes as to what they want to promise. Let it even be in writing. So that when they get there, you'll be able to really take them to task. That's one very important thing which touches my heart, and I pray and hope that Nigerians will get their bearing right.
And that brings us to the end of this insightful conversation with Barrister Adebayo Shittu. Sir, for sharing your time, your experiences, your vision with us. We are very grateful. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you. And we know that when next we come, you will receive us.
Always available.
And I believe that the viewers over there, they will have learnt one thing or the other. If this interview, this chat, this interesting dialogue is very interesting to you, please don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe to PrimeStar TV. Until we come your way again, continue to be inspired. Thank you very much. Bye.